guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we are fighting a rogue Embermane. It's the first of its evolutionary status, I'd say. This is actually a name you might have heard from me back then when you have watched the other videos. But don't worry, this is not the Embermane we were talking about. The Embermane I was talking about is the next evolutionary Embermane, basically the next behemoth you will fight after this. Since this is just the first impression you should get from Phoenix Labs, they created those rogue behemoths to show some certain mechanics. Those behemoths will get upgrades on, and will be basically set in stones. They won't change those in the fights of the next behemoths. They will just give you various different rotations of those behemoths in combination with the attacks they already do in the rogue behemoths, the evolutionary step basically. I hope you get what I mean. But yeah, let's jump right into the fight. I'm using the defender set as recommended. Of course, you can do as you wish in your opinion. And yeah, the fight is rather easy. You have to cancel his charge if you want to do so with the blades and hammer, since it's the easiest way to do so. Instead you can use the axe and sword, of course, but it's really tricky with those two, since the reaction time of your weapon and the movement you have to bring with it and the skill are very random sometimes, since you have to be precise in terms of like milliseconds. But yeah, what's this fight about? You have to interrupt his charge with the blades by hitting the tip of his horn or the nose, basically the face if you want so. And with the hammer it's the same deal, but rather simpler, since you can't really miss the face. With the blades you can basically mistime it and hit the body, or as you have seen, hit nothing at all. And that's when it gets tricky. You can't try to hit and preventive dodge, for example. If like you'd say you try to hit but you haven't and you already dodged, you can then actually don't get hit by it. But you have to really dodge right after you try to attack him, since he charges you won't have enough time to actually react on the impact with the blade, since the iframe isn't as long as with the other weapons, and you can't really cure him since he's only charging and not standing right next to you. But yeah, that's the basic idea of the charge. Of course you can do this fight with any other weapon, as I mentioned, but I would suggest you do it with the blades or hammer, since it's a training for the next Embermane, the actual Embermane. Of course, this is the rogue Embermane, and those mechanics will be you will see those mechanics again with the Embermane no matter what. And that's why in my opinion it's best to train to this point where you can actually hit those interrupts blind with just a feeling you have developed. And yeah, that's the basic fight with blades. Of course, with the other weapons you would have to then, like for example now, to dodge in instead of just slamming him in the face. And after you have dodged into him, he will try to knock you out with his body slam. That will basically bind you on his tail or his legs on the backside, and then try to hit those legs while he's moving around you. But you have to kinda prepare for his claws. Of course, those have a tip on the backside, which can then hit you when you are standing on his left or right side on his feet. And yeah, that's the basic idea of the first fight. I hope to see you again on the next evolutionary behemoth, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you then guys, bye bye.